Okay, let's talk about Reverse De La Riva grip setups first of all. So you can see here I'm gripping Tom's right Achilles and bottom of the calf with my hand, and I'm going to try and wedge Tom's instep here against the bottom of my hamstring. Now you can see there's a tiny little bit of daylight there, which isn't ideal. I could do with shutting that space down a little bit, but essentially I'm pulling Tom's instep, shin and foot shoelaces towards me, and I'm extending my hamstring a little bit into his shoelaces and the base of his shin to create some pressure. And that way those two opposing forces there and there create a sticky grip for Reverse De La Riva. Now my right foot is here threaded on the inside of Tom's right foot here, and this gives us the setup for the Reverse De La Riva guard, of a hook based guard you could say that it is. I got a bit of dorsiflexion in my right foot which hooks against Tom's right quadricep there, and I can push and pull with that Reverse De La Riva hook. And then I have the support leg here, which should be anchored to the body in some fashion. Otherwise, the person you're against can just anchor their hand to it and start hand fighting against your leg and start controlling it, which can be annoying. So I like to try and anchor my foot up onto the top of their hip there. My shoulders are slightly rounded. You can't see so well from this angle, but my shoulders are rounded. That means I can spin and I'm a bit more mobile, so I'm not completely flat on my back. And inside De La Riva or Reverse De La Riva means I'm slightly leaning towards this right hip. I'm on my right side just a little bit so that I can start engaging play there. And that's pretty much the basic grips, basic setup. And then from there, this video is going to continue and show a basic sweep and off balance that we can use immediately from getting into this position to start our offensive cycles. So from this angle you can see a bit better what's going on with that hand grip. Right around here you can see me gripping the back of the Achilles, and then this is a better job of wedging my hamstring against the shoelaces right here. You can't see nearly as much daylight, and that's ideal. That creates a lot of pressure and enables me to control the entire foot of my partner there. And the last piece to talk about for the Reverse De La Riva as a guard is this arm here. Now, because I'm not in the gi, I don't really have any gripping points on my opponent in the same way with no gi. So this arm is basically works as a frame. Cross shoulder frame, cross lat frame, anything to stop Tom's head from coming too close to mine. I don't want this distance closing too much. And I can use this also to monitor his shoulder line across here and just keep him away from me. The closer he starts to get with knee cutting and driving into me and passing, the more important this frame becomes. Right now, whilst he stood up, it's not too important, but it becomes very important as Tom starts to lower his level and then engage. So now that we understand how the grip system works for Reverse De La Riva and what we're trying to do with each of our limbs, I'm going to have a look at a basic sweep. I call it the Ric Flair sweep because the aim is to flare the opponent's knee. Knee tweak sweep is another name we've been using, or just Reverse De La Riva sweep I guess works. It's a basic off balance, so let's just run the sequence from a variety of angles so you can see what's going on, and then I'll talk in more detail on how it actually works. So let's run it back from the beginning. Essentially, I'm changing direction, my opponent's direction of force. I want them to drive into me on a forwards based vector, and then I'm going to change. I want them to drive this way, and then I'm going to change them and drive them out to the side. So I'm going to start the encounter with a push of the legs, and that comes from predominantly this free pump action leg here, my left leg. I'm going to push into Tom's hips this way, leg press, getting him moving away from me, and then with the intention of him responding, driving straight back into me on this line. So you can see that here. I push, and as he drives in, this is where the sweep starts. Tom's energy right now is driving into me on this line, but I actually want to drive him perpendicular to that, out this way, to my left. So I'm going to use this left leg here as a pendulum, and I'm going to kick it in an arc out this way to my left. What that's going to do is I'm going to force Tom's right knee to go considerably outside the line of his right hip this way, and you'll see that he can't base then with that right leg, and so he ends up being swept. So the sequence runs a little further. There's the pendulum action of my left leg. I straighten my De La Riva hook as hard as I can into the inside of his right knee, and then as a result he gets swept. Using that momentum of the sweep and using his weight as a counterweight, I can bring myself up and then achieve inside position on the hip with my right hand here, and then now I'm starting to run my pass cycle or offensive attacks from there. So from more angles, I push, he pushes, and then I flare his knee into the sweep. I push, he returns in, and now I'm going to send his energy from driving this way. I'm actually going to send him this way. Let's see if I can sweep him out the window. And then I come on up from there. Push, he comes in, and then I redirect. This is surprisingly effective as a first off balance. Now, you might not always get the sweep straight away. What will happen is you'll get them to change the position of their feet. So as you push them away, you can see that Tom's left foot wants to base out there. That gives him a base of support to drive back into me forwards, which is great. And then from there, I can either change his direction of the sweep like so, or you can see now, once he steps back into me, his left foot is actually surprisingly close to his right. And there's reverse tripod sweeps and a variety of other attacks that I can do from him reacting to that off balance. So this is well worth its time and effort learning this Ric Flair sweep. It's very simple and it's very effective, and you can hit it immediately when someone starts to drive into you from Reverse De La Riva. I've been playing with it the last few months with a lot of success, and it's pretty cool, and it's low effort, low energy, and at worst, if it fails, you can get yourself into a kazushi position where you can start linking other subs. You can see from this angle here, the straightening of my De La Riva hook with my right leg here pushes into the inside of Tom's right knee. And as soon as that right knee comes outside the line of that right ankle, over this way, he can't base anymore because it's captured here by my hand and preferably wedged by my hamstring as well. Now I can reinforce the efficacy of this even further if I can pull his foot off the floor as I do it. There, if this foot can be pulled off the floor as I straighten my knee into him, then we're laughing. Then he's definitely going to have to respond to that off balance. And that's where this becomes really effective, as I can start to pull his foot off the floor on this line, which is the line of his toes, the way his toes were pointing. Pull his foot, and then there you can see the kazushi is already available. Push, pull, sweep. Ric Flair, really simple. Push, pull, and then redirect and come on up. Push, pull, sweep. Push, pull, and then redirect. So that is the basic Ric Flair sweep from Reverse De La Riva. Give it a go.